So, hi, I'm making this video. Um, I've done counseling. I've practiced as a counselor some, um, and treating supposed mental disorders like depression or anxiety. Depression or anxiety disorders. Now, you can treat it from Well, what am I trying to say here? So let's just take one thing: depression. That can be treated from a psychological perspective, a secular psychological perspective. It can be treated from a spiritual perspective. Now, when I've practiced, it's been mostly from a secular psychological perspective, unless, of course, someone brings in the spiritual practice or spiritual ideas or spiritual perspectives. Then I can work with that some, but still sort of from the framework of a secular psychological perspective. So maybe I'll entitle this how depression and spirituality meet. I guess actually I should make some videos on like depression and spirituality. I should also make some videos on Sazian theory and depression and other supposed mental psychological disorders. So with I mean, I could do both in this video, I guess. So from a Sazian perspective, and Saz is spelled S-Z, A-S-Z. He's a late Hungarian psychiatrist who recently passed away at the age of 92, or in September of 2012. And so he writes about his big book. His first sort of big book was called The Myth of Mental Illness. So the myth of mental illness, in the sense of rather than depression being a brain disorder, perhaps it does manifest from the brain as far as our emotions, but ultimately, it becomes sort of complicated. And actually, I would encourage you just simply to read his books, because I think more than just probably, he's laid out the lines of reasoning and the lines of thought a lot better than I could here. Anyway. So maybe it's actually better to focus. Oh yeah. So I'll say about Saz is read his books. I'm recommending you do that. From the spiritual perspective, so like A Course in Miracles is the book, and it says quite a bit about depression. It says I think it says depression is blasphemy, for example. Basically, it says joy comes from and bliss. So the things opposite of depression come from doing the will of the Holy Spirit or following God's will. It doesn't say a whole lot about what God's will, other than God's will is perfect happiness, or for you, God's will for you is perfect happiness. And this book was one publisher is the Foundation for Inner Peace. But yeah, so spiritually, I don't know. I think I'm about done. Maybe this is just a little introduction of this. We'll call this a sneak preview. So if you've watched 3 minutes of this, you've just seen the sneak preview of things to come. So thanks for watching. Yeah, so anyway, please subscribe to this channel, share this video, visit my websites, and watch my other videos. Anyway, more come soon.